everybody. Welcome to PB&J. We're going to share some picture books and junior books. And I'm Miss Sam from the Asheboro Public Library Children's Room. And I'm joined with Miss Brenda from Liberty. And I've got Miss Emily with us too.
Hi.
She's also at the Asheboro Public Library. And we're all just going to share our favorite picture books that have come out this month or this year, and our favorite junior books that have come out this year, books that we're excited about. And hopefully you will be too. And I'll start us off with picture books. I brought First Friend, How Dogs Evolved from Wolves to Become Our Best Friends. And this is written by Kirsten Hamilton. This is a picture book that's also nonfiction. So we actually established a little code for our picture books at Asheboro Public Library as ENs, as an early nonfiction. So it has a bunch of facts at the back of the book about how wolves evolved to become our favorite friends, our favorite pets, our pups. And it tells a story about little girls and little boys meeting wolves way, way, way back in the day, and how the wolves observed the humans and how the humans hunted, and how the humans observed the wolves and how the wolves hunted, and how we gradually started to learn from each other as pack animals, as social animals, and evolved together into this symbiotic relationship where they hunted with us and slowly became our friends, became the dogs that we know and love today. So I thought this book was just so cute, so colorful, and so interesting, and really just points out how far our relationship with animals has come. At the very end, it shows a little girl welcoming a pup, an image that looks very familiar to us today, as she's getting and meeting her new best friend. And again, at the very back, just a lot of really awesome, cool information about how wolves became dogs, and how dogs, it's the survival of the friendliest, how we were all such good hunters that pairing with us enabled them to hunt as well. And we shared resources, and that's how we have our pets today. So I thought that was an interesting little addition into the dogs and animals categories for children's picture books.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. I know my son would enjoy that, since we just recently got a new dog. So that would be a good one to get. Well, I will go. I brought in Floppy Flamingo, which I honestly, like some of our books we've talked about in other categories, I mostly got at first because of the cover. I saw it and I was like, oh, look at the flamingo. And then I was like, why is he gray? So it's a learning book in the sense that we learn why flamingos turn pink. And it's because of what they eat. And that's sort of the premise of the book. That little baby flamingo doesn't want to eat his shrimp. And shrimp is how flamingos turn pink. But he decides he's not going to eat shrimp. He's going to eat some other things because he doesn't think he likes shrimp. So he eats an avocado and he turns green. And he eats, what else does he eat? Let's see. He finds these bright fruits in the woods and he decides to eat them. So he eats the pepino melons and turns yellow and striped. So it's going through, and his parents keep reminding him, maybe you should eat some shrimp. Maybe you should eat some shrimp. And he's like, I don't like shrimp. And he finds these other fruits, these little spotty fruits. So he eats the dragon fruits and turns spotty. For any parents out there, know that kids constantly just keep saying, I don't like it, I don't like it. And his parents are like, maybe you should try it. And he's like, well, and he says, I guess I could try the shrimp. And then lo and behold, he turns pink. And his parents are like, did you eat your shrimp? And he said, maybe I did. And I think I like shrimp. So it's just really cute. And then Mike the Dog book has a lot of information and facts about flamingos in the back and why they turn pink and where they're from, how they live together and work together. So it's a really sweet, sweet book, not only about kids who might not want to eat their food, but trying new things. So Fussy Flamingo by Shelley Vaughn James, and then pictures by Matthew Rivera is really sweet and really fun too.
That is so cute. Such a good way to introduce colors into story times too.
Sure, yeah.
Well, I will go ahead and talk about the book I brought today, which is called Away with Wild Things by Larissa Fool, I believe is how you pronounce her last name, but if that's wrong, I apologize. And this is sort of a book that looks at self-esteem and self-confidence. And this book is about a girl named Poppy who loves nature. She loves bugs especially, but she loves the flowers and the trees and all that stuff. She loves being out of doors. What she doesn't love so much is being in a big group of people. She does great being surrounded by nature and her bug friends, but she doesn't do so great being surrounded by people and her family. And so she tends to kind of blend into the background, sort of like a flower will blend into a field or a leaf into a tree. And as we go through the story, we start to see she goes to a party with all of her family. We can see here all the family and friends showing up. There's so many people, and it's a party for her grandma's 100th birthday. And she is sort of, can you spot Poppy? She's sort of back here hanging out, blending in with the flowers in the background. And she's sort of nervous. She doesn't know a lot of these people and she doesn't feel comfortable being around them. But what she is comfortable with is bugs. And she sees this really cool dragonfly land on the cake. See right here. And she wants to get a closer look at it. So she kind of comes out from the background. And her dad her Uncle Dan kind of calls her out saying, hey, there you are, I couldn't find you. And she's a little bit embarrassed. But then the dragonfly flies right over into her hands. And she realizes that, and she shares some fun facts about that dragonfly with everyone. And everyone's super impressed that she knows that. And she starts to realize that she might not be a wallflower that kind of hangs off to the side and doesn't talk to everybody. She might be more of a wildflower that is meant to be in nature and sort of loved and admired. And then in the back, just like your guys's, we do have a little glossary of all of Poppy's bug friends. And it goes over all the bugs we see in the book and what kind of bugs they are, their sort of bug personalities. And that is Away with Wild Things. It's a very beautiful book. I love the illustrations and I love the message. It's really sweet.
Liberty has a copy of that too, and it was definitely one on my list that I was wanting to get. So I'm glad you all have that too.
Very pretty spring book, gorgeous illustrations.
Oh yeah.
Alrighty, now we'll go into our J fiction. I brought Dead Man's Castle. It's a little spooky on the cover. This is by Ian Lawrence, and it's in our mystery section at the Asheboro Public Library. We've split our junior books into genres, and this, we believe, is in the mystery genre, but it's also very suspenseful and a kind of a thriller, and it's a bit of a whodunit. So Igor is a young boy. He's 5 years old when his father is attacked. And his father gets very paranoid after he is attacked by a man who has a lizard tattoo. So they call him the Lizard Man. And his father believes that this man will come after his family. So they move from city to place through Igor's life as he's getting older. He's never been in one place for too long. He's never really had the opportunity to make friends. And he finally gets to a school that he really likes and meets friends that he really likes. And he really doesn't want to move, but his younger sister believes that she thinks that she's seen the Lizard Man in their own house. Now, Igor thinks that this is something that his father has made up in his head, like he's paranoid. He's never seen the Lizard Man himself. So his sister saying that she's seen the lizard man is a big deal, but he wants to keep it hush hush and not tell the father because he doesn't want them to have to move again. So he and his sister and his group of wily friends are going to figure out the mystery of the lizard man and kind of bring it all to light so that they don't have to move again. So it's a mystery, it's fast paced, it's really interesting. And I think that a lot of juniors would love this and that it would be actually a quick read because it's so fast paced and just things are constantly happening. So I think you guys would like this one, Dead Man's Castle.
Sounds spooky.
Yeah,
Yeah, a little bit.
Sounds fun. Well, I brought The Season of Sticks Malone by Kikla Magoon, and I have seen Kikla Magoon do a couple of presentations in the last year. So I really love her personality and her writing style and the way she talks about just wanting to write fun books. And I think there's all kinds of really great relevant books out that are talking about various topics and hard topics with diverse audiences and diverse topics too. But Kikla Magoon really wanted to make an emphasis on just writing a really fun book with diverse characters. So fun in the sense that you've got these two boys who have a new person in town who's just super cool. And the super cool kid like gets them to do things like try to trade their baby sister for a bag of fireworks. So there's lots of fun things going on, a lot of mischief, and also I think a lot of growth. So it's also about kids learning, about right and wrong and learning who they are and being confident. But there's also just a lot of fun. I think that's a lot of the reviews are the emphasis on kind of just a, not necessarily coming of age, but just a younger kids. So this is looking at like 8 to 12 years for reading age, 3rd to 7th grade. And just a kind of a good romp of a book, not too complicated, not too dense text, but just a fun read for a fun topic and some funny stories about what kids can get into. So, and it takes place in Indiana. So I grew up in Ohio. So books from Indiana is such an odd place to place a Maine book, but that's where Kikla's from. So it's also really fun to see just a different background for a book too. So that's my recommendation of The Season of Sticks Malone by Kikla Magoon.
So for my recommendation, I brought a graphic novel that I have read and enjoyed thoroughly, and it is called Oh My Gods, written by Stephanie Cook and Isha Fitzpatrick, and the art is by Juliana Moon. And this is the first in a series. The other books aren't out yet. This is the only one that's out right now, but I'm keeping my eyes peeled for the second book in the series. And if you like Percy Jackson, I think you'll probably like Oh My Gods, because it's another one that focuses on Greek myths, but it looks at it a little bit differently. So with Percy Jackson, we are seeing demigods, the children of the Greek gods, but in this, we're seeing the Greek gods reincarnated as humans. And they become friends with our main character, Karen, who is a demigoddess, but she is one of the more rare in her school on Mount Olympus. So when her mom gets an opportunity to work on her dream job, she goes to live with her dad on Mount Olympus. And her dad, being the essentially reincarnated version of Zeus, is he's the mayor of Mount Olympus, and he's the principal of the Mount Olympus school that she goes to, and he's in charge of the police. He basically runs Mount Olympus, and Karen doesn't realize that when she goes to live with him. She also doesn't realize that he is the reincarnation of Zeus. So this just is a really fun story about making friends. It's got the fun hijinks of a adventure story, and it's got all the beautiful beginnings of friendship and school life and dealing with hard things and mystery. and dealing with your parents. It's great. I really enjoyed it. I would really recommend picking it up. And if you do pick it up, come into the Asheboro Public Library and tell me what you thought of it.
Yes, please do.
Come see us,
Mhm.
because we're
Yeah.
open.
Yes, we are. We're open for browsing. We're open for printing. We're open for computers. Come and visit us at all of our libraries in Randolph County Public Library System. And is there anything else we want to discuss before we wave goodbye?
Since we're doing picture books, Liberty has started doing story time in the park. So we're doing story time in person outside at our 2 parks. We have 2 parks here in Liberty, one at Freedom Park and one at Paul Henry Smith Park. So we're swapping weeks. So this week we're at Freedom Park. Next week we'll be at Paul Henry, but 3:30 on Fridays. And we're just gonna have fun and try to do it via Zoom as well as in person and see how it goes. Rain or shine.
It's going to be awesome. It's going to be super awesome. So 3:30 on Fridays.
Yeah.
And one park or the other. You guys are going to rotate.
Yeah.
Our story time in the park at Asheboro Public Library is going to be at Bicentennial, and it's going to be every other Tuesday at 10 a.m. And please call us to register for our story times, because we do some preparation beforehand, but they don't need to call for Liberty
No.
story time,
No.
right, Brenda?
No, they don't.
No call for theirs. Okay.
Yep.
Perfect.
good.
Awesome. We'll see you guys at the park.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. It's
Thank
good to
you.
see you.
Take care.
Bye.